Hi everyone, it's another middle class review and it is March 2019. So I'm going to get stuck into it because I've got a lot to cover. It's about property. You've probably seen in the news, oh my God, property's crashing, drops of 20, 30, 40% on apartments in Sydney and Melbourne. Well, why is this happening? Well, I can tell you why. Basically, easy credit. We've had easy credit for a long, long time. So we had heaps of building, lots of speculation. Easy to get loans. Also, we had low interest rates. Now we've had a Royal Banking Commission, which has looked into the banking industry and found that they've been very dodgy, lending people money when they shouldn't have been. People who couldn't afford repayments because they were just being greedy. Also, we had a lot of Chinese investment predominantly. Now, China, up until very recently, the Chinese were taking $100 billion a year out of China and investing it in overseas markets, predominantly in property in places like Sydney, Melbourne, in Australia, Vancouver, also in Brisbane, of course, too, but Vancouver is a big one in Canada, London in the United Kingdom, places like that. Okay, so you had massive influx of foreign investment. Now, the Communist Party has cracked down on this because they know that their economy is going to blow up soon. It's going to go to hell, big time. So they are trying to save their economy by keeping the cash in China. So you've had these things slow down. So all of a sudden now you've got units and apartments going down in value. And as I said, some places have dropped 20, 30%, it seems like in the last few months or so. Now, how can you protect yourself from this if you want to get into the property market? Look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll just tell you exactly what I did and why I did it. Now, when I first started investing in my 20s, I bought properties that were less than 20 kilometres to the CBD. They were between 14 and 19 kilometres out. These are my first three properties. They were on good sized blocks of land. They were all on corner blocks and high up on a hill. Why did I do this? Well, I looked at what the Catholic Archbishop Dewey did many years ago in Brisbane. He bought up all the property on big high hills and put nice private schools on them. So they're worth a squillion. I did pretty much the same, but I did corner blocks because I didn't want to have neighbour problems if I had tenants. So when you have a corner block, you often have more land area, and also you have, you don't really see your neighbours that much. So it was better for the tenants who were going in there because I was renting these all out. Now they weren't big McMansions. They were mainly just 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double lock up. But my first one I did get at a really good buy. So it was 4-bedroom and an office and 2.5 bathroom. Now, here's the figures. Check this out. This is a common thing in, say, Brisbane. Let's say you buy a house, okay? What is a householder's value better than units? Okay, so you've got a $400,000 land content. Say the block of land is worth $400,000. Then you've got the house, it's $250,000 to build. So let's say you pay $650,000 for total purchase price. Look at the proportion of land to the house. Houses aren't worth much, mate. They're like cars. You buy a car, a few years later, it depreciates, falls to bits, you put another one on. You've seen houses all around our capital cities getting knocked down, putting new ones on. So forget about the value of the house or what it costs to build it. Look at the land content. Massive proportion. More than, 2/3 of the property of the total price is land content easily. So here we go. Look at a unit. Imagine you had only 6 units or apartments put on one suburban sized block of land. So $400,000 block of land, they cut it so it can put 6 units on, 3 on the bottom, 2 on top. And they're $500,000 each when they're brand new. So people buy these beautiful new, nice looking apartments, nice big balcony on them. It's quite nice. But it's $3 million in total. But look at the land content. 400,000 compared to 3 million. It's like less than 15% of the entire property on this block, and less than 15% is land content. So obviously, the building, like I said, they depreciate, they fall apart. It'll drop. When there's a slowdown in the market, units and apartments are the first thing to go down, okay? So that's how I protected myself. Even in bad times, remember when the GFC hit and there was a bit of a panic in property, my properties probably dropped by 10%. Okay, but there were apartments and things that went way down. And there are apartments now that I see on the market that were costing more than this back in 2007. And I'm talking about inner city apartments, they're well under 300,000. But why? Because they build so many apartments, so many new apartments are built. Your prospective tenants want something nice and new. Why would they go and rent a 10 or 5 or whatever age old apartment or unit that needs an updated kitchen and bathroom when they can get a brand new one for the same rental price? So obviously rents on the other ones go down, or the investor or speculator, as I prefer to call a lot of these people, have to then renovate the property, then they take a big loss. Whereas if you've got a house, look, if you've got a home, well, land is scarce. Apartments are not scarce. So the land is scarce. So even if you have an older style kitchen or something, people still want to rent it because a lot of Australians still love having pets. And it's the same in most Western countries. They want room for a pet or for their children. So think about it. When you're buying, protect yourself. It's a form of insurance. And you'll see so many cases of people. There was even a 60 Minutes article recently where a lady bought an apartment for $650 and she sold it for $550 only about 3 years later. And this was before this current slowdown has just started, okay? So keep this in mind, protect yourself, and best of luck no matter what you do. Stay awesome.